Welcome to the FediHost podcast. I am your FediHost, Paige. No, that doesn't make sense.
FediHost Paige.
I am a human being called Paige who works at FediHost, and with me is another human being called Victor, who also
Works at FediHost.
We got it. Okay. Today, Victor, gonna get right into it. This is a follow-up episode of the long saga called "Can I Put My Go-To Social Instance on Your Server?"
Yeah.
So, Victor, we made a mistake, I think.
Yes, it was a mistake.
So you might say like, hey, I'm a paying customer. I've got $5 a month.
Yeah.
And I would like to put my go-to social instance on your server.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you turn down money, Victor?
Yeah, I think it's not immediately obvious why. Our pricings are really low because we've automated a lot of stuff so we don't have to do it. But when people want to bring their own instance, then we can't do that automatically. So we have to verify, like, what version of the database are you using? What version of the software are you on? Like, how big is it? Things like that. Yeah, it's actually quite a time-consuming process to move somebody. Let's say we're moving a go-to social instance, and that takes me like 3 hours to do. Well, we just lost money, basically.
Yeah.
Like we're giving you, like, it's, even if you're paying $5 a month, for us, that 3 hours was so expensive that we're never seeing that money ever again.
You have your calculator in front of you, I assume. Let's pull it out. Okay. Now let's pretend that that person paying $5 a month was going to be using our services for 40 years.
For 40 years?
40 years. How much would we make?
Times 12, 480 times 5 is $2,400. That's really cheap. That's so cheap.
Exactly. So I think it'd be fair to say that basically, if we had someone who was a member for effectively longer than the modern internet, and we got to take away your costs from that too, we'd probably break even at the 20, 30-year mark based on what we've experienced.
I mean, we can do the math. So let's say I work 3 hours, then that's $600 at our rate. So 600 divided by 5, 120. So 10 years. We'd see our money in 10 years.
What were you doing 10 years ago, Victor?
Oh, that's going to circle back.
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
I had just moved to Montreal.
Me too.
I think I was living in Philadelphia, actually.
10 years ago, I was like out of college, and I was probably like looking for my first job.
Now think about what subscriptions you had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think the only things that I still have are Todoist and Google Workspace. And Todoist is like literally the central app of my life.
Yeah.
So this is basically the problem. If a person comes over with one of these low-cost plans, we have this high risk, of them taking up at least 3 hours. What we found in practice, right? We should walk even through my moving day, right? So moving day, by the way, it's named after this Quebec tradition. In Quebec, leases always used to finish on one particular day. And so there's this tradition of everyone moving on the same day. It has pros and it has cons. One of the pros is that you can reliably find a lease that starts at exactly the time that your current lease ends. Yeah. So you can kind of shift one over, and the whole kind of town kind of does this like lift and shift. I mean, the problem is it's just a bananas day. Like there's the U-Hauls from the entire like northeast of the continent get sucked into Montreal.
I think it's not that bad. I think it's pretty organized. Like,
it's bad in that it's economically inefficient because it elevates costs. Like, things are really expensive on that day.
Yeah.
And you only have this one day to move because someone is moving into your house and they have to move into your house because they're moving out of a place that someone is moving into. Anyway, so we thought it'd be fun. We'll do a moving day. We'll kind of like hearken to this local tradition and have this day each month that we do a moving day. Moving day hits, and we'd prep people beforehand. It was actually very time consuming on my part, writing to a support ticket, here are the instructions. Created a blog post. You're at stage 2. Get ready. You're moving on to stage 3. Make sure you've done this. Make sure you've done that, right? Moving day arrives. And
Yeah, somebody didn't send anything.
someone didn't send a zip. One was corrupted.
Yes.
A lot of work, right?
Like at least a couple hours. And yeah, we didn't talk about this, but you coordinating this before it happens, like talking to the person and like sending them emails, it's probably maybe an hour of your time.
It's probably about an hour of my time, but it's in that mentally taxing sort where you're like, what have I said so far to Chuck? Chuck, okay, Chuck's at this stage. I need to put a reminder to let Chuck know a week before this thing. And you're not doing a high enough volume. If you were doing like 2,000 people, this is a massive kind of process, then you could kind of systematize it. They're in spreadsheets. You have a system that auto mails people, but it's really manual. So we are talking about like probably, minimum 4 or 5 hours of our time. And then very frequently, it doesn't go to plan.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, we can't keep offering moves for free or moves for cheap.
Yeah, we figured that out pretty quickly.
Instead, what we have is a new system, which basically, when a person wants to move, they let us know, and we'll tell them like what the next time is that we could do a move. Just it's flexible, because sometimes it'll be like, oh, there's a slot on the next milestone we can put you in for, and then they have a deposit that they have to make of $500, which. It's a deposit. If the person has like a pretty big instance, if there's like 200 people on their instance and they'd be on this more elevated plan, they'll use up the deposit over the course of a year or two. If they have a really small solo instance, which only has like one user on it and they're on the most basic plan, they're more in the decade-long sort of category.
Yeah.
And if they leave, it's like, oh, okay, well, like the credit's still in the account. You could come back later, start another instance. Maybe there's another service that you want to add. I don't think we had any other choice. I don't want to say to people, we won't do that. We can't do that for you. This is really the only way that we can offer the service.
Yeah.
I was thinking as an analogy that it's kind of like we opened a restaurant that was BYO ingredients.
Oh, yeah. And then people come to us and they're like, can you make me a lasagna? And they're like, okay.
And you're like, this is like out of date. You will die if you eat it. You're going to have to go buy some other ingredients, and then they go away and come back. If you're going to have a restaurant that has like bring your own ingredients, then you're going to have to say to people, we unfortunately will need to make sure your minimum spend for your order is like this amount for it to make sense to do this, because we're going to have to research the thing you want us to make. Probably some of your ingredients won't be correct, probably.
Yeah, or it's like the thing you want us to cook takes like 5 hours.
Do you think that we're going to be able to stick to the current plan, or do you think we're going to have to change it again?
Nah, I think it's going to change again.
Yeah. What would be your guess? What would be your guess goes wrong with this one?
I mean, at some point, I think we're just going to be too busy to even do it.
Well, like we might be, but like there's always going to be a, if we got to the point that we were so busy we couldn't do it, and even for $500 deposit, which is fair, we could increase the deposit amount, or we hire someone.
We do it like for big clients, but that's like a separate contracting.
Well, that's a part actually. So on the migrations page, we outline that there's kind of two sorts of migrations. One's the kind of like when we can slot it in migration, and we have this like, it's not guaranteed to occur with downtime that's less than like 48 hours. With like corporate clients, they basically pay this like premium price so that they get an instant transition.
Well, as instant as it can be.
Yes, asterisk instance, like it is always some amount. But like, if you work really hard and you write a lot of scripts behind the scenes and you practice, make sure it all works, you can get migrations that go across in like a mere minutes, but it's kind of this like diminishing returns. There's a point where you're like, oh, I can get it down to like an hour,
Yeah.
And then you could go like 10 times more work and get it down to like a minute. But that would be insane. Yeah. Most people, you choose somewhere in between. So our budget migration option is basically what we're discussing here. And there's all sorts of options in between.
Mm-hmm.
And we have migrated a lot of people onto our service in the last few months. It's eaten up like so much of our time.
Yeah, it's good, but it's also, yeah, we have other things we'd like to do. If you're a business, like don't take this this conversation that we're having as like us saying we don't want to migrate you. We absolutely do want to migrate you. It's just there's a cost. There is a cost.
Basically, migrations cost anything between a day of work to like 10 days of work.
Yeah.
So say half a month. And if you have 2 migrations, back to back, to say a whole month where we haven't been able to work on the website, and we're having to fit in around that, updates to applications and improvements and bug fixes and all this sort of stuff. So we've had so many migrations, which are these giant chunks of work that they've been kind of like occupying at time. And like I am actually looking forward to, at least for a little while, being able to focus on building a platform for a bit.
I mean, we kind of had one this week. Things are going to slow down, but there's still stuff. There's always more stuff to do in the back.
I've been surprised how many basically customers there are that you didn't know existed. Anyways, happy to have people at FediHost, but also wouldn't mind having the next month be a good old-fashioned work on the platform month, which we haven't done for a while. Check out the migration page if you'd like to see the latest update after we change this policy yet again.
Yeah, so something we need to add is we have to tell people, okay, your instance is this size, you're going to have to be on this plan, because I don't think we mentioned anything about the plan.
So that's another thing. We have plans that have flexible media storage, but we haven't built a flexible database storage system yet. And so it can be quite hard when a person migrates over, like when a client migrates on. Typically at that point, in the case of Mastodon, you have this like the reality of my database is situation where the database kind of like compacts down because Mastodon's Postgres database has these kind of marked as deleted values in it, which don't get cleaned out until you do a vacuum on it or you do this migration. And so people kind of can migrate in and you're not quite sure what plan they're going to fit on until they do the migration. Yeah. All right, so thanks for listening or watching on PureTube, or the delayed version on YouTube, which is slightly less delayed now because I have uploaded the YouTube versions of these videos.
Yeah,
actually built a little app to do it today, which has been kind of helpful.
You built a what?
So
you vibe coded an app.
Claude is insane. It's insane. I can't believe it.
Okay.
I was like, do this, spec'd it up, and then it's like, put this into a command line. I'm like, can you make a GUI? And it's like, here's your GUI. And it's got like a drag and drop thing with a little icon that it's made. It's like a fake company app thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, truly, we live in a frightening future. Check out our YouTube version, which is now duplicated from PureTube. It's like the reverse of the cloning tool that you're used to. And you're like this. It was like, I think we should use Python instead of TypeScript. And I'm like, Victor would like this.
Yeah? Good job.
Comment away if you have any questions, and we will see you out there in the Fediverse.
Bye.